Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
It's 4 minutes till showtime.
Hey, fellas, don't fight over that hot dog. There's plenty for everyone. Big, plump, and juicy, wrapped in an oven-fresh bun. Add mustard, relish, ketchup, and go to work. Yes, the hot dogs at our refreshment center are the best you'll find anywhere. Everybody agrees on that.
It's 3 minutes till showtime.
Thirsty? The refreshment stand is open with everything to satisfy your taste buds. Here's the menu: the hottest, freshest, crunchiest popcorn, each kernel popped to its fullest with that real movie time taste. Cold drinks. You'll find your favorite ice cold, tasty, and thirst quenching. And hot dogs, hamburgers, and candy too. Now a short intermission, so you'll have time to make your selection before the show begins.
It's 2 minutes till showtime.
Your attention, please. All new hotshot electric in-car heaters have been installed for your comfort and convenience. Just insert heater through car window and turn on the switch. When leaving, please turn switch off and replace on speaker post. Warning, high voltage. For your own safety, do not attempt to repair or remove wires. Do not attempt to open heater unit. If you need assistance, please notify the theater box office or concession manager.
Top quality hamburgers, the most popular snack in the country. We serve them plain or garnished to your taste.
There are words men live by, words of strength, of wisdom, and of peace. We urge you to find the spiritual comfort and guidance we all so greatly need by attending your place of worship regularly.
Just 1 minute to go.
And now, on with the show.
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us, and we extend a cordial welcome to you. We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the new, colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading about. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to bowl you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome.
Hello, fellow humans, cats, other non-human identifying sentient creatures, non-sentient creatures, and anyone else who might be out there watching the poker action today. As you see right off the top, we are playing the 8-game scoop event today, 41 low. We did not SAD into this one. We didn't really give much of an effort to SAD in. We purchased our buy-in with a ticket. We also have 2 Unibet tables running, which I will get to shortly because this is an interesting hand. As you can see, I've got a low. I am the only person with a low at the moment. Although both of these guys could potentially be drawing into a low. I have no high hand, however. But if I'm splitting against 2 high hands, I'm in a pretty good position here with my low. Might have wanted to get more money in on the 6th Street, but I'm pretty happy to just check call behind here and take the low down almost all the time here. But it's possible that both of these guys were drawing the lows to beat me, so I could lose the low here. I only have an 86, but I'm not going to lose the low very often in that spot. Yeah, so I don't really have all of my. Yeah, that's not the right title. I don't have my titles right. Let me work on some titles. It's been a bit of a busy day for me. Just NJ Scoop, everything else rolling up. I just had a ton more work the last couple of weeks, and it's all kind of piled up on me. So that's why I'm a little late today. I do apologize for that, but you know, it is what it is. We all have to work for a living, right? Right? Most of us do, anyways. That one's still there. Great. So let's do. And that's the black hole. Cool. So we got 3 games running at the moment. That's that set up. Why isn't everything else changing? That's why, because this one has not changed yet. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, so the other games we got going is the Black Hole Nano on Unibet and the Dwarf Star Bounty at Nano. Ooh, which is not configured at the moment. Let me get that configured for you here. There we go. That's the Dwarf Star Bounty Nano. Up and running for you. Hello, Ant-Man. Good to see you, buddy. Kitty cat. She's a kitty cat. I'm no longer on the FT of the 2-year singularity, so I should probably correct my title. And let's say every day is a win day on Unibet Free Roll Challenge. And happy birthday, friend of stream, Nightshopper. Alrighty, so just a reminder of the 8 game that we're playing here. Played a little bit of a Saudi on this yesterday. Just to remind you what games we're playing, it is the horse rotation with deuce to 7 triple draw tacked on in front, and no limit hold'em and PLO tacked on at the end. So the order of rotation for the games are deuce to 7 triple draw, fixed limit hold'em, fixed limit Omaha 8, fixed limit Raz, fixed limit stud, fixed limit stud 8, no limit hold'em, and pot limit Omaha for the final rotation before we roll it all right back around to the deuce to 7 triple draw once again. We're flopping well on the Dwarf Star Bounty Nano here. Just call behind here. We're got the best hand here pretty much all the time. Gonna keep letting other people put money in the pot for us if possible. We bet the river if nobody bets here. And I think with a bet and a call, I think this is where we put in a bit of a raise, because we do have some draws coming in at this point. It is getting to be a wettish board, so let's get our value in now. Well, pretty much every fucking draw in the world got there, and our full house did not. So I think we just have to check behind here and hope for the best. And we got the best. The best is what we got there, folks. We hoped for the best, and we got the best. Harchi, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So far the 8 game's still really early. We've got like 3 hours of late registration yet to go, and it's a 2-day event. So again, we might cash at the end of today. We cashed at the end of the day 1 of the horse. So I don't know how this is going to run. We might cash today. We might cash tomorrow. I'm not sure. But we'll see how it goes. So far I've been able to pick up a few extra chips in this game. I'm slightly over my start stack. It hasn't been, haven't had a super huge run, but hasn't been terrible either. So we're into the pot limit, Hold'em phase, or sorry, pot limit Omaha phase. We just went through our no limit hold'em phase, so it's pot limit Omaha now. Then we get back to the top of the rotation with deuce to 7 triple. Still working out what I'm going to do with the €50 ticket I have. I think I like Piano Cat's suggestion about exchanging it into 5 €10 tickets to take 5 more shots at more 50s. So that's probably what I'll do. I haven't gone through the registration process yet off that link, so I need to get through and do that at some point. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to do with that. We'll see from there. If I turn into like 5 €10 tickets, then what I could do is maybe play 3 of them for €50 for more €50 tickets, and maybe fire 2 of them at the Dark Matter tournament. Something like that, anyways, thinking. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you're having a great birthday there, Shopper. Alrighty, pair of kings with 2 suits, 1 to the ace in a PLO game is something that you want to get involved with in a fairly aggressive way, usually. We take it on pre, which is not a terrible result there. It's obviously a hand with lots of good potential post-flop, but, you know, that sort of hand is also one that can be in trouble post-flop too, so. Dwarf Star Bounty. Tons of my, it's like every fiber of my being wants to call this off here, but I think it's probably a bad move. In this particular case, these mega shoves are pretty silly though, usually. And it's very often going to be a hand that Ace-Jack is ahead of. I just didn't really feel like running it down at that particular time. I'm doing good today. MVE. Hope things are going well with your poker as well today. We're having a good day so far. Everything's just gotten underway. And we've just hit a break, so I'm going to queue up some commercials for you, and we'll be back shortly.
Ladies, controlling household odors is an all-day job, not just when you're cooking fish or airing out smoke-filled rooms. Why? Because offensive odors linger in your home for hours. You may not notice them because you've become accustomed to them, but folks coming in from outdoors are sure to smell them. So, play safe. Odor condition your home with Wizard Wick Deodorizer. It keeps any room in your home sweet-smelling 24 hours a day. Simply raise the wick, and away goes fear of stale tobacco smells, the embarrassing cooking odors of fish, onions, cabbage. Unpleasant smells in any room. Yes, you're safe with Wizard Wick Deodorizer because it works as a continuous odor conditioning unit. Get Wizard Wick Deodorizer, only 39 cents. Other Wick deodorizers cost up to 69 cents, so you save 30 cents. Get Wizard Green Wick for pine scent, Wizard Pink Wick for delicate spring bouquet.
At this time of year, with coughs all around, you need a cough drop that really works.
Vicks Medicated Cough Drop, regular flavor. Vicks Medicated Cough Drop, New Wild Cherry flavor.
The only cough drops medicated with throat-soothing ingredients of Vicks Vapor Rub. Really medicated to bring you faster, more effective relief from dry, husky throat, coughs of colds. Pick your flavor.
Vicks Regular.
Or
New Wild Cherry.
the same effective medication, the same wonderful relief. Vicks Medicated Cough Drops.
Folks, here's a youngster whose mom really knows the score. You know what this is, Johnny?
Sure, it's juvenile. My mom gives me some every day. She says it's to make me gain weight and grow.
And, does it?
I guess so. I sure get awful hungry. Mom says I eat more than Dad does.
Does it make you feel good, too?
I always feel good. I'm pretty strong.
Well, by golly, I guess you are, young fella. I wouldn't want to tangle with you. You know, Johnny, I think that a lot of mothers would like to help their youngsters gain weight and grow, just like you. Mothers, the Council of Parents magazine commends Juvenile for your child. You see, Juvenile is the blood-building, appetite-building vitamin and iron tonic that your child may need to gain weight and grow, and for energy, too. And this is especially important during these summer months ahead because the youngsters play harder and they naturally burn up energy a lot faster. And believe me, the results may amaze you. This big 16-ounce bottle of Juvenile, now enriched with vitamin B12, is only $1.98 at all drugstores. And mothers, you know the youngsters really like Juvenile? Tell them why, Johnny.
Sure. Juvenile tastes like lollipops. It's good.
This is aluminum. Nature made it light. Alcoa made it plentiful and low in price. This is aluminum, a new and better way to protect food, to cook the tastiest Christmas dinner you ever had. Wherever Foil, an Alcoa aluminum product, is today's #1 food saver. It prevents shrinkage during cooking, seals in food flavors, it saves work, too, with no messy pans to scour. Used in millions of households, it keeps stored food fresher longer. There will be more and more Wherever Foil next year when our country's defense needs have been met. Wherever Foil for the kitchens of America. Aluminum from the ever-expanding facilities of America's foremost producer, Alcoa, Aluminum Company of America.
This is the CBS Television Network.
Join the army that everybody can belong to. The Army of Community Chest Campaign Workers. 60,000 volunteers are needed to carry on this war against broken homes, all kinds of trouble. Do your part in keeping our home front strong. Be a Community Chest Campaign Worker.
We're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Scoop. We're not back in action yet on the Scoop, so let's go over to some of our Unibet tables and have a look at those. Yeah. Here we go. Juvenile is coming on now. I love this. I might have to create a avatar of Juvenile. There's a couple of little kid avatars in there that might actually be perfect for Juvenile. Juvenile, I love it. I might have to make that as an avatar. Interesting hand developing on the Dwarf Star table. Was limpy pre-flop, went checked around on the flop. I called a min bet on the turn, and we river top pair. I mean, I guess we're going to lose against an ace here some of the time. Oh, wow. Guess we lose against a 3 there. Cool. And the 3s. Interesting. We are back in action with deuce to 7 triple. Down here on the 8-game table. For the record, if you were wondering, this is not a triple. This is not a deuce to 7 hand. Doesn't matter whether you're playing triple draw or single draw. That is not a hand you want to play ever. in deuce to 7. Although technically you could draw 4 cards to the nuts. Probably not a good plan. Probably never going to be a good plan for you. Sort of a small rule of thumb. It's not 100%. It's not something that's 100% true. But basically, if you don't in triple draw deuce to 7, this doesn't apply at all in single draw. But in triple draw deuce to 7, if you don't have either a deuce or a 7 in your hand when it's dealt, you have no business playing the hand. You need either a deuce or a 7. You need at least one of the cards that makes up the nuts in deuce to 7, and the deuce is usually the one. And truthfully, it's almost a case of you want the deuce and the 7 in your hand before you play a deuce to 7 pot. Triple draw. And I'm about to break that rule here because I think we're going to play this. 87 draw. With a 1 draw behind. Looks like it might be a family pot. Not too upset by that. So we threw away our king and we got an ace, which is 1 card worse. The only card worse for us than the king. However, we're the only one drawing 1. I could potentially bet there, but I'm not going to take it down against 5 people very often. Somebody's going to have hit enough of their draw to want to see 1 more draw. So it's getting called in at least 1 spot, although I could clear some of the table out, which is never going to be a terrible thing in this spot. But yeah, I think I'm almost certainly going to bet the second draw here. It's not the best 87 that we're drawing to, but an 87 is a reasonably decent hand to draw to. It's like the worst 8, but it beats all 9s, right? So we did at least clear a couple of people out. We got 2 guys are down to drawing a single card like us. Blah. And we just made our hand even worse. We basically got the 4 worst cards in from the deal through our 3 draws. We basically got the 4 worst cards in the deck for us. '86 was ahead of us anyways, no matter what we drew. So that actually probably saved us some money by drawing badly there on the 3rd draw, because if we draw good there, we might actually want to put money in and bet that spot. So the fact that we draw bad and we sort of know we're bad, we don't really want to put money in there. So that queen saved us. Still, we from the from the deal to third draw, we got the 4 worst cards in the deck for us with our 4 1 draws that time around. So that's fairly unlucky. Yes, Toggle, thank you very much. I've already tracked some time today. I don't know why you're harassing me to track more time. I've already tracked time today. Fixed limit hold'em is the portion of the mixed game that I truly despise. Fixed limit hold'em is one of the most pointless games in the world, I think. Unfortunately, there was no Badoogie scoop event that I could find this year, which kind of sucked. Although I did say they added some new ones, but I doubt they added a Badoogie. I'll bet the new ones they added were things like the short deck and shit like that. That's the new craze stuff. It's funny, everybody's talking about short deck as a new craze. It's not new craze, everybody. The game that we call short deck today was pretty much the game of choice on riverboats back in the day. It wasn't it was rarely played with a full deck back in the original poker days. The slush is very icy today as opposed to liquidy, so it's not easy to drink. So I've elected to just call behind in position here with my pair of eights. A bit of a set mining opportunity, although it's not entirely a set mining opportunity because I think the eights are still going to have value on a lot of flops. And when I get checked to on this flop, I actually think I have some. I have a lot of folds from the other players when I put in the bet here. And I equally think I continue to get a lot of folds when I two barrel because Yeah, I'll probably just have to check behind now. I mean, he's going to be doing this with his stack against me with a club draw, but he's also going to be doing it with the straight draws and with things like an ace, X, and hands that hit the flop. So I'm just going to check back. He's going to be doing it with the straight draws, as I said. So, but as I said, don't really think there's any value there because he's not calling any of the hands that we beat, and he's calling with all the hands that beat us. So there's no. I don't have a bet there. I don't think. Good thing we didn't hear a set on that hand, though, because that would have given him the straight. Picked up a nice hand here. Flop 2 pairs in the 08, which I think is still going to be the best hand most of the time. We'll see if a low hand comes in on the no low hand, and we now have the full house. So we are going to be 100% taking down all this pot. Well, 99.864%, given the odd queen 10 out there. But this being 08, the queen 10 is much less likely. Although it was a limpy blind on blind pot, so it's pretty much any 2, or any 4 in this case, I guess. In fact, on that hand, we probably should have got a little bit more money in on the turn on that hand, actually. Should have put in a raise instead of just calling behind on the turn. Because we're pretty sure we're ahead on high there. And if he's drawing to a low, we should make him pay to draw in that spot. And we didn't. We just called and let him essentially get a draw for his bet, which was not what we should have done there. We won the pot, but we should have played it differently. We should have played a little better, I think, in the end. It's not an unplayable hand in 08, but ace-5 is going to be pretty weak on low. You got pretty decent possibilities on the high end, so queen 10 off is the new aces. I should have put in a raise there. I'm not sure why I just called. I should have put in a raise there. I won't make it 3-bet over Blauger, though. I will call behind because my ace deuce is super strong on the low, and we've got lots of flush and straight possibilities depending on what flop comes. So there's not going to be a low, but we do still have backdoors to both of our flushes, so probably not going anywhere. We just went into the straight and also backdoored our spades, so we got to put a bet in here. We got to put a bet in here. We might just take it down here, and that's fine. But we gotta make them pay to keep playing. So we don't have the best flush draw in the world here, so we got to make them pay to. If somebody else is out there with bigger spades, we got to make them pay to keep going. They probably don't on this board because the pair of kings is really gross. And in fact, our straight is pretty weak at this point as well, which is another reason why I want to bet at that point, because you know, if anybody's sitting out there with a king X or whatever, I don't necessarily want them to be able to see that river card for cheap. We're at Raz. I'm not going to play this hand. It's not really playable even as a bluff. The 8's not going to put too much fear into people's hands, especially not with all the other low cards out there. And I got nothing to back it up with, so there's really no point in getting involved with something like that in a Raz game. I would if the bring-in was to my left and I was the last player to act, then I would definitely put in a raise with my 8, which would be lower than whatever the bring-in's card was. But that's the only time I'd ever play a hand like that in Raz. And for the record, that's sort of a hard and fast rule in Raz. You should always open. For a raise, or for a completion, if the bring-in is the player to your left and you are the last player to act before the round. It's pretty much always minus EV to just give the bring-in to the player. Doesn't really matter how bad your back cards are. Your up card is always going to be lower than the bring-in, because in Raz the bring-in is the highest card on the deck. So I suppose it's not always going to be. There's going to be the odd case where it's like a queen on queen, and he's got the queen of clubs, and you've got another queen, right? So he's the bring-in, and then it comes around to you as the last one. So occasionally you might be in that spot where it's the same card, but that's a pretty rare situation, and 99% of the time you are going to need to you're going to have a lower card than he's showing face up, and you're going to need to put in the bet there, and you're going to take it down 90% of the time. Maybe a little less as you get into more knowledgeable Raz players, simply because they know it happens more, and they might either try to snow / bluff, or they might have reasonable enough back cards that they decide to take a couple of cards off the deck and see what happens. But it's definitely a plus EV strategy to raise that in that spot, and it's definitely a minus EV strategy to fold in that spot in Raz. IMO, of course. And developing on the Dwarf Star, it could just be up against King 10, which would be kind of gross, but oh, now just any 10. Now just any 10. Wow, we were dead the whole time. We were dead the whole way. Gross. Flop the up and down straight draw. That's not a terrible place to be. Let's stick on this hand. We've got something potentially developing in the Raz down below. Our straight draws just got a lot grosser. I don't even think we're going to chase it at this point. It's not even worth chasing at this point, I don't think. So let's head down to the scoop table. Yeah, we're pretty happy with the way this is going so far in our Raz thing. We're still pretty happy with the way it's gone. I mean, we don't like the jack, but he hates the queen more than we dislike the jack. That's a bad card for us. He does not know it's a bad card for us, though. And I think we're just going to keep betting. We might lose this, but I don't think we can avoid betting. Probably should not have won that pot. If anytime we're going to win that pot, Flystone should not be calling behind when I make that bet. I basically turned my hand into a bluff at that point, so he shouldn't be calling with hands that don't beat it. I don't think all of his bluff catchers should be beating that hand that I just bet there with. So that's an interesting thing to put in our memory banks. What did he call me with there? Just out of curiosity, let's have a quick look at that. He called me with Jack. Wow. Wow. Dude. We're into the stud phase. We're not getting involved here. We're just going to let them fight it out. Picked up an ace-king in the Dwarf Star Bounty Nano on the big blind. I think we put in a raise with this when it gets around to us. Nice spot for a 420 bet. I think we're going to run this down. And we don't get there. We can't run fast enough, apparently. Alrighty, so we're done in the Dwarf Star Bounty Nano. I think that's probably not a horrible move for us there. I mean, we ended up racing, and I think we are racing a lot of the time. I think we're against like ace queens and ace jacks a chunk of the time there as well. That may or may not call off when we shove. But I think when he calls, yeah, there's going to be the odd aces and kings out there, but we're going to be racing against most of his range. So just in the black hole as far as Unibet stuff is concerned now. Might jump into the singularity when it rolls around in 30 minutes. We'll see how things are going. I don't know how long the stream is going to be. It's mostly going to be dependent on how deep I go in the scoop event. That's the main thing I'm focusing on right now. And we're going to head down there as I've put in a raise with a pair of nines on stud. Got raised by the ace showing above. And he's still betting. So, I mean, he can easily have a pair of aces here. But I don't think we can assume that on 4th Street and just get out of the way with our nines. I think we gotta keep. So now that Upgrade is showing pair of tens and Tony Pavlik is doing the whole raisy thing, I think our nines are pretty much dead here most of the time. Yeah, I suppose that's true, Ant-Man. I can see your logic there. I I am going to have a ton of bluffs in my range there. So yeah, I see that point. I guess when he does make his jack, yeah, I suppose I can see your point. I do have a ton of bluffs in my range there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't feel like I was value betting my 10 high there. I'm pretty sure I felt like I was bluffing bluffing my 10 there. I mean, the thing is, I can look relatively nutted on that hand, right? I mean, he doesn't know that he doesn't know that I paired my 5, so I could look really super strong. There. Nice one, Piano Cat. Well done, well done. Glad you made up for the miss yesterday. I was disappointed to see you as the bubble cat yesterday, I must say. Picked up Ace King in the black hole. Gonna put in a raise with that pretty much all the time. Buy-ins in the dark matter? The dark matter is a singularity, is it not? Or have they changed the dark matter into a rebuy tournament? The dark matter used to be a singularity. Yeah, the dark matter is a freeze-out tournament. How have you got multiple buy-ins in a freeze-out tournament? You must be talking about something other than the dark matter. Could be done in the black hole here. Huh. Huh. He's just got the two fucking pair against my worst hand. Yeah, we'll fire one more bullet in there. Let's mark that on our bankroll sheet. 0 in the dwarf star and an extra bullet in the nano. Black hole. See what else we got going here. Just looking at some tournaments. I'll jump in the Singularity when it rolls around in half an hour, but I think I'll leave it at 2 tables until then. I mean, he could just have a better jack, but or a better spade, but so we're into no limit hold'em here on the scoop table. Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Gotcha. For you to make a profit on the day. I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, why not? It's your birthday. Have a fun birthday. See if you can't bank a big score. Not getting much for great hands, and I should be running my HUD for this. It's not going to be useful for much of it, but it's going to be useful for two of the 8 games anyways. Let's bring the HUD up. So I've used Hold'em Manager 2 as my HUD for most of my poker time. I used another one early on in the time, but it's been Hold'em Manager 2 for recent. They recently just put out Hold'em Manager 3, which I got a free beta into, and I'm liking it, actually. You guys aren't seeing the, you guys won't see the HUD, but I have it on here now. Alrighty, so we're putting some money in with a pair of queens here on the black hole table. Second bullet, I should mark that on my two bullets there. And the two bullets there. I wish I hadn't tagged quite that long there. Nice little double there in the nice little double there in the black hole. Put in a raise with my ace, king, queen, 5 suited diamonds here on the PLO table. We take it down pre, which is cool. Not going to get involved with this one in PLO. We'll be in the deuce to 7 zone here pretty quick. Deuce to 7 triple draw, of course. I was too late to get into the abyss today. Either version. That's not much of a PLO hand either. So we got an hour and a half of late reg left here in the 8 game. Currently we got 2,100 people, 2,151 registered. Haven't hit the guarantee yet, so we're going to need another 800 people at least, 900 people at least before we get to the guarantee. Probably is going to happen though, so we probably have more than 30K in the pot when we're done here. We're sitting 1764, which is not a great spot obviously, but not a terrible spot to be in right now. So I'm pretty happy with where we are, and we'll see how it goes. So this will be the last hand of a PLO, and we got a hand we're probably going to get involved with. So I have the ace of clubs, which means I can actually credibly bluff the clubs here. And I had the jack as backup anyways, it did not seem like he was playing a king, so I think we were pretty good with that bluff there. Semi bluff. I can check behind one with the jack some of the time as well, but a bet like that, when I'm holding the ace of clubs, a bet like that's even going to fold out some good players who have clubs there, simply because they know they don't have the nuts, and they know it's entirely possible for someone else to have the nuts in an Omaha game. So, nice one, Nightshopper. Take it down, buddy. Take it down. It's not a deuce to 7 hand either. So the fact that I have 2 of the 7s here is actually a fairly good thing, because it means that there's an extra 7 that's dead for everybody else. So the fact that we're here on a 76 rather than a 75 is somewhat problematic, but that can also change in triple draw, because we can actually get there when we depending on how the draws go. Yes, in an ante-only game, you always limp. Like, always limp in those games. Alrighty, so we're drawing to the nut 76 here. Which means we ain't going no fucking where here, folks. Nut 76 is going to win you a lot of hands, even in triple draw. We still have 1 draw remaining to hit our 76. I think we're definitely going to play for it as well, because okay, so upgrade has hit a hand he thinks is good. I mean, So in a single draw game, I'm padding my 9 here pretty much all the time. But in a triple draw game, I am never padding my 97. We draw worse, but 97 is never going to win anyways. His upgrade is padding an 8, I'm going to guess, most of the time. I could bluff this potentially here because upgrade is not going to be yeah, so like I said, the 87, him on the 8, the way he pat checks, he's almost always playing an 8 or a reasonably good 9 in that spot. So my 97 is never going to be a good hand there. So I have to draw to the 9. And, you know, it's, but like I say, in a single draw game, I'm probably padding that 100% of the time because his pat check is a lot weaker there. It's like a jack most of the time. Even a queen some of the time. Well, he doesn't really pat a queen usually, but pats a jack or a 10. And we have the example of why chat is a bad idea on poker sites. Right there in our chat window, folks. Interesting developing here in the it was bet call pre-flop, bet call post-flop or on the flop, check on the turn, and I think it's just going to go check on the river as well. We might have gotten a bluff through there actually against the queens. He probably thought we had an ace. Don't really want to turn my hand into a bluff there, though, either, really. There's a lot of showdown value there, I think. Never fold your 4-6. Out of position raise from small blind, big stack. He's going to do that with with a pretty wide range, I think. Yeah, probably a dumb move. Surprised he called me with that, but whatever. We're not going to rebuy in that. We're not going to rebuy in that. Going to jump into the Singularity after the break. Get out of the way on that one, I think. Alrighty, so we just regged in the Singularity. We got the break here, so let's send you off to another set of commercials real quick. We'll be right back.
Every day's a holiday with Hot Point.
I'm Happy Hot Point. Uh-oh, there's a nice-looking couple in search of a home. Just wait till they see that Hot Point kitchen.
And this cleverly designed kitchen comes completely equipped with the finest modern appliances.
Oh, here's something I want in my home, a dishwasher.
Well, I don't blame you, lady. This new 24-inch Hot Point dishwasher gets more attention than anything we've got in the house. It outwashes and outrinses every other dishwasher. In the first place, a Hot Point dishwasher washes everything twice, using fresh detergent each time. You just load these 2 cups with detergent and flip the cover into place. During the first wash period, detergent is used from the uncovered cup, and the 2 little tanks in the cover fill with water. Now, here's where Hot Point is way ahead of other dishwashers. As the water drains out of the first tank, the weight of the water held in the second tank uncovers the fresh detergent that is used in the second wash period. After the second wash, the dishes are clean, but they must be rinsed. And no matter how thoroughly dishes are rinsed, the water collects in drops to dry in spots like this. But Hot Point has solved the spotting problem by automatically injecting a few drops of a special wetting agent into the second rinse. This wetting agent causes the rinse water to spread so smoothly that it cannot collect in drops. In a Hot Point dishwasher, everything dries spotless. So, Hot Point's exclusive system of spotless cleansing not only leaves dishes hygienically clean, it actually makes everything sparkle.
Tell your dealer you want the dishwasher with that Hot Point sparkle.
Say, this looks like fun. An afternoon at the amusement park and a very pretty girl. Doesn't she have beautiful hair? Soft, silky, bright as sunshine.
To keep my hair sunshine bright, I use White Rain. It's wonderful. You see, White Rain is a gentle lotion shampoo. It gives my hair the kindest, gentlest care, like real rainwater. Watch this. Did you ever see such wonderful suds? Why, it's like washing your hair in softest rainwater.
And talk about rainwater results. White Rain leaves your hair soft and silky, bright as sunshine. Use White Rain tonight. Tomorrow, your hair will be sunshine bright.
Use new White Rain shampoo tonight, and tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright. White Rain, White Rain.
So I can let you have...
What kind of movies do you like? Do you go for fast action, perhaps you prefer a good costume drama. Or maybe you have a yen for young romance. You can make them all at home easily. And right now, they're easier than ever to afford, because now there's a new Brownie movie camera by Kodak that costs only $29.95. Only $29.95 to make movies as easily as snapshots. There's one simple setting to make. Even if you've never snapped a picture before, you'll make exciting movies, indoors or out, with the new Brownie movie camera. You'll save the action and color of happy times like this, and you'll save money, too, with Kodak home movies. You get up to 50 scenes on one roll of film, so they cost less than 10 cents a scene in gorgeous color. You use this inexpensive 8mm film, the standard amateur film. Tomorrow, find out how easy and inexpensive Kodak home movies are. See the new Brownie movie camera, only $29.95. And you can ask your dealer about easy terms. It's precision built by Kodak, so you know it's good.
We're back. Just got the 2 Singularity kicked off. Of course, we're also still playing the Scoop. Ace 10 in the big blind here on the Singularity. I think we get involved there. Pretty nice flop for our Ace 10, I gotta say. Check to the pre-flop raiser. Bet the turn if he checks. Definitely bet the turn. And definitely bet the river with a fairly chunky, trying to get as much value as I can. It's a shame that river was a brick. Would have been nice if one of the straights or something came in. I think he was on a straight draw probably. Something like a jack queen. 8 jack, something like that. So we got nut hearts, third nut diamonds, and ace deuce 6 for low with ace queen for high. So I think we're getting involved here. Just had to have a quick double check on the board, make sure we were playing 08 and not the PLO round. I was pretty sure we were on the 08 round, but so I'm drawing to the nut low. I still got both of my backdoor flush outs, so we are 100% staying in the pot. So none of our backdoors come in, but we still got a pair and our nut low draw. So we're just gonna check through and no, actually we're gonna put a bet in, and because we could take it down there a lot of the time. We've now got 2 pairs, and we're definitely putting in a bet. And we're going to take this down without a call, and we're going to win when he calls most of the time as well. Registration's up to 2421 in the scoop event now. Still sitting a 30,000 prize pool. I think we need over 3,000 people to. It's 11, which is 10 plus 1 on stars, I think. Let me just have a quick look at the structure page. Oh no, it's 980 plus 120. So we need more than 3,000 people. That's right, stars bumped up the fucking rake again on these things. So yeah, we need more than 3,000 people to hit the guarantee. It may not happen. There's still an hour and 15. So yeah, it'll probably happen. We'll probably get over the guarantee. So 6 is a hand I could actually raise in Raz with this board texture. But it's also perfectly reasonable to fold this sort of hand. Good luck, MVE. Take her down, buddy. Get them monies, get in the money, and then take her down. Seriously considering bringing in for 1,000 on this one. It's a very good Raz hand. It's pretty unusual that you get such a good Raz hand and you're the brigand. I mean, there's obviously even better spots than this, but it's a pretty darn good spot, and I don't think, given that we saw just a call there, I'm actually taking one more. I'm actually taking one more card off at least. Ugh. Well, no, now he's paired as well, so I think we're going to call behind. We're going to check behind here. See a 6th street. So he's working on an 85. Well, we're working on a 76. Although, from his perspective, we could be working on a 75, well, 74 at this point with a draw to the 5, obviously. But it's obvious that neither of us actually has a low at this point. So, just going to check back. Oh, he actually might have an 85, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's obvious I don't, but I've just hit my 76, so I'm pretty happy with the hand, and I think I'm going to have to put in some value here finally now for it. And he probably calls us with an 8. And he could even have, I mean, if he's hit a 7 on 5th or a 6, he's calling us all the time. But so Tony Pavlik is a fairly good player, based on the sort of plays I've seen so far on this table. He knows all the games that I've seen him play hands in. Seems to be pretty proficient in it, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for him. But paradoxically, actually, there's a lot of times when you actually prefer playing against a good player than a bad player. I mean, I can't bluff a bad player in Raz. right? It's just not possible to bluff them, because if they have a hand that they think is value, they're going to call, and they're not paying attention to what you're doing, right? So they're not paying attention to your board. They're not really looking. They're not making that calculation of, okay, I have a reasonably good hand, but if I look at his board shows he's probably got a better hand than me, so I should probably fold. They're not even close to making that sort of calculation, right? They're just looking at their 97, going, oh, I got a 97. Let's put our money in. So you can't bluff a bad player, whereas you can bluff a good player because he's making those calculations and he's seeing all the boards and he's remembering the cards that were folded and he's remembering what's left out there, and he's like, yeah, I'm probably bad in this spot, even when he's not necessarily. So I actually don't mind I actually like when I identify the solid players, because it's an opportunity to actually make some good plays against them. Whereas against the worst players, you just sort of have to get there, right? Alrighty, so we're into limit stud now. 7 cards, high hand wins. Same poker hands as you see in any of the community card games. It's just that everybody has their own community board, basically. Yes, playing different kinds of games at the same time can be tricky when you're having to adjust your strategy for each kind. When I was playing a ton of mixed games back in the day, I'd occasionally get myself into these spots where I'd have one table of Raz open over here and one table of Stud open over here. So really bad idea, that sort of thing. It's the hands you're getting dealt look exactly the same, but you got to play in completely polar opposite ways with the hands you're getting dealt. So it's pretty tricky. Another one that's tricky is trying to play Badoogie and Omaha side by side. Because again, you get 4 cards in both, but you're doing completely different things in Badoogie than you are in Omaha with those 4 cards. So it's a bit tricky. It can be a bit tricky to remember which game you're playing and what you need to be doing with your 4 cards. Or your 7 cards, if it's the Raz Stud thing. Playing a high game next to a split pot game isn't terrible. So like Stud 8 next to Stud isn't terrible. And actually playing Stud 8 next to Raz is actually not bad at all, because if you're playing good Stud 8, you should be looking to scoop the pot with all your hands. And if you're looking to scoop the pot with all the hands, it means that you're playing hands that are also going to play well in a Raz context, typically. That's not a terrible thing to do. Same with 08 and well, there's no low version of Omaha, but yeah, so you can play the low variants with the 8. And even the high variant with the 8 isn't terrible, although you do tend to either play hands with too much low potential on your high game, or you forget about playing your low hands on the split pot game, both of which are minus EV. But it's certainly better to do that than to play Stud and Raz beside each other, for example. Because at least you have some crossover in those games. And I've found, for the most part, if the games are totally different, like if I've got some stud version going over here, and I've got some Omaha version going over here, it's no problem at all. I can keep track of that pretty easily. If I've got a stud version here and a Badoogie going over there, I can keep track of that pretty easily as well. It's not that hard. It's just when the games are very similar that I have trouble separating them in my brain. Picked up a pair of 5s on the singularity table. On the button. We're just going to play this as a call behind for the time being, see what the flop it brings for us. It's not the worst flop in the world for us on a limped pot pre-flop. There's not going to be a lot of aces out there. Judah here in the small blind is one that's going to have the most aces, probably in this scenario. But either way, with a min and then a raise, I think the 5s are probably not going to be very good there. I think we'd have to run out to a straight. If we run out to 4 diamonds, we're not even gonna be very happy with our spot. So it's probably BSPS had us there. Yeah, so we need 3,062 players in this tournament to hit the guarantee, and that's the scoop one I'm talking about, obviously. And we've currently got 2603. So yeah, with an hour left in reg still. Yeah, we'll almost certainly take the guarantee. That's cool. Okay, I'm okay with that. It's funny, there are still satellites running for this tournament, even though there's only an hour of late reg left. Wonder what happens if any of those satellites run longer than the registration period of the tournament, because they're on stars. You can't exchange your tickets anymore. When you play satellites like this, you get a ticket for the event, and that's the only place you can use it. So I wonder what happens. They must turn it into T-money or something if it's if you finish the tournament at a point where it's impossible for you to register the tournament you got a ticket for. Seems like they'd have to turn that into T-money or something. Maybe award you another equal value ticket for another scoop event later on down the road. But if it's something like an 8 game where there isn't another equal value event later on down the road, it's not fair if you win your ticket to the 8 game, but you can't reg in the 8 game, so they give you a ticket for Hold'em or something. That's not fair, right? You were doing it for the 8 game specifically, so at least if they gave you T-money, you could then use that T-money in 8 game tournaments if you chose to. Too bad, Nightshopper. I didn't play the Calypso today. My My entries into the Calypso are pretty sporadic. And more often than not, they end in spectacular failure early on. So even when I do reg in them, we don't always see much of them because it's PLO. So you get in with your reasonably good drawing hands and no hope for the best, right? That 8-9 is actually something I probably should think about raising in a six-handed scenario, even from under the gun. Sorts of suited connectors can play pretty well after the flop, depending on what you get, of course. But looks like we would have been facing a shove that we would have had to fold to anyways, so it's probably better off that we didn't get involved this time. So we lose a very good player there. With Tony gone. 9 offsuit's not nearly as attractive as 8-9 suited is, but I was going to say, but if we get the pot odds, we will, but we're obviously not getting pot odds now that Flyston team has gone shovey-shovey on us. Still good min cash there, MVE. Any little bit helps, right? Any little bit we add to our bankroll is a bonus. Excuse me. Still didn't sleep very well last night again. Not sure what's been going on lately, but I got a few ideas, but it'll work itself out eventually. We're just not getting hands in the no limit hold'em phase here. Aces holds against the two pairs of upgrade. Obviously, we would have liked to have seen some hearts on this flop. Probably don't have enough of it to continue. Deuce and the 4 are certainly cards I would like to play in a 08 scenario. But I just don't think we have enough else going for us with this hand. And to be clear, the deuce and the 4 are not great low cards. Need a pretty need some pretty specific board cards to make a deuce 4 look super good. But hey, your head's up in it, so I guess you should have been playing, Nightshopper. It's your birthday. You're allowed to splurge a little bit, right? You're allowed to have some fun, play some big buy-ins. Really like to see a flop with this, but I don't think I'm going to come in with a raise. Already in front from under the gun here. Don't have enough low potential here. Obviously, would like to see a flop to see if the clubs come in. But anytime there's low cards on the board, we're going to be splitting the pot at best. So, not the best spot to be in. Very much of the opinion in poker that although winning pots is always great, getting involved in pots also means you have a chance to lose pots. So, and losing pots is horrible. So you should probably be relatively cautious, and it doesn't mean you don't get involved in pots, of course, and it doesn't mean you don't even get involved widely in pots in some cases. But what it does mean is that you remember the principle that money saved is almost as good as money won. I.e., if I can save myself a couple of bets by not getting involved in a pot, I should be almost as happy about that as I am when I get involved with a pot and win it. Because I'm preserving my stack in that scenario, and I'm still giving myself a chance to put those chips in later in a better spot. So I was almost about to play that hand because of the wonderful ace-deuce low possibilities there. Until I realized we weren't actually playing a split pot game at the moment. We're playing a PLO game. So I've actually been analyzing this all wrong for the past couple of minutes for you guys because I've been analyzing the wrong game. So, oops. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 86, we are taking this to the mat, I think. And I think we're probably going to go, I think we're probably going to pat it all the way down as well. So, I mean, 86 is not the 86 is not the most unassailable hand in triple draw for sure. But you don't really want to be, certainly not at this point do I ever want to be breaking an 8. If he gets down to the point where he's drawing 1 or padding, I might think about breaking an 8, but definitely not breaking an 8 at this point. And I'm still not breaking an 8. That's why I'm not breaking an 8. That's why I'm not breaking an 86, folks. That is why I am padding all the way down with an 86. Because we've seen Fly Stun team before doing some pretty wide stuff, and I know that my 86 is going to be pretty strong against the range that they're going to be drawing to in that hand, I think. Nightshopper, put you in profit. Bonus. So we're drawn to the nut 86 on this hand. For the record, I'm putting in a raise with a pair of 10s on the singularity table from the button as well. We'll get back to the I put in a raise on the 8-game table with our hand. And I'm just going to get out of the way here. We'll go back to that 8-game. Back to that 8-game table and see where we're going. So we get raised again by Blauger. And I think we're going to call and see where we go. I think we're going to keep drawing to our 86. So we now have to nut 87, which is basically the same spot we were in before. I wonder if he's ever checking. I wonder if he's ever patting down worse than an 87. I wonder if he's ever patting a 9. He might pat a 9 from the start. I actually haven't seen. Wow. Alrighty. I was expecting if he had an 8, we were losing with our 87, even though it was the nut 80. Well, not the nut 87, nut 876. Because he's usually going to be playing like an 8-6 or 8-5 if he's playing an 8 there. So I'm a little surprised. He was checking that down from the get-go. I'd have been far less willing to check down pat down an 87 on that previous hand than I was an 86. We should actually make a note on that. Patted down 87653, was it? Yeah, 87653. Yeah, doing some decent runs here. We're relatively deep in the 8 game. We got double stack now in the scoop 8 game. My Unibet hasn't been going so well today, but we're playing on a singularity over there as well. Got that running at the same time now, but oh, Visration, good to see you as well today. Get some, you guys get to watch some 8 game action as we're having fun over on Stars. Like I say, we got a double stack now. It was a 25K start stack, so we're up over 50 now. Hoping to go deep once again in one of these scoop mix games. I say go deep. I didn't really go deep in the last one. I got like 150th in the horse. Alrighty, we're over 3,000 entries in the Scoop Low event now. 3009, 3011 at the moment, so we're almost certainly going to hit the guarantee without a problem. Like I said, we need like 3,063. There's still 41 minutes to go, so we'll get way more than that, I'm sure. It's currently 450 places getting paid. We are sitting 526th, so we're not actually in the money, but there's still ages to play in this one. Tournament breaks after 64 levels, so we're going to be playing a late again tonight if we bag/cash. I don't know if I don't know if we'll be cashing tonight or cashing tomorrow on this one. We cashed on day 1 in the horse, but I don't know if that would be the same here on the here in the 8 game or not, but so a pair of jacks with the deuce 5 is a pretty decent hand to put in a raise with when you get checked to. We're not going to be up against a queen very often, so I think we need to keep putting the pressure on the small stack. And there's no lows there anymore, so the low doesn't matter anymore. And that's in the 08 context, he's going to have been looking for a low quite a bit there, and not therefore none of his hand is going to have come even close to hitting the board. But if I let him take free cards off the deck, he gets there some of the time. So I need to pressure him off the pot there. Lager's a fellow Canadian. And is now done. What else we got here? We got upgrades a Canadian, Brazilian, Flyston is Swiss, and Norway. Oh, we just flop top pair. If there's a low, if he's got a low draw, then we're just going to put him in. That's another raise hand. We got the nut hearts, ace king, and ace 3 for low. So we now have the nut low draw. We also have backdoor hearts, so I'm pretty happy to keep putting money in the pot. We now have top pair and the nut low draw, so I'm pretty happy to keep putting money in the pot. We now have the nut low and top pair, so I'm pretty happy to keep putting money in the pot. That would be the theme of that hand. I'm pretty happy to keep putting money in the pot in those situations. And I'm pretty happy to fold this hand out. Even though the deuce 5 and the king queen are playable, we got two suits. None of those suits are nutted. The deuce 5 is pretty non-nutted for low. The king queen can play pretty good for high, but you know, it's not. I think we get involved here. Lots of straight outs, lots of, obviously the 3 clubs isn't great, but we got fairly good low and straight outs, so I think we need to see a flop at least. Alrighty, so I'll just give it to these guys for the time being. The 3s kind of kills our low draws and doesn't play for high ever, so not worth getting involved with there. We were really looking for an ace or a deuce on that flop, and then one other low card for sure. So it turns out we would have run out pretty good, but, you know, can't rely on that. Dealer, I have a complaint. You're dealing me stud hands when we're playing Raz. This is not fair. You should be dealing me Raz hands, not stud hands. It'd be all over this shit if we're playing stud. It'd be all over this shit. Should almost never call a completion in Raz when you are showing a king. Doesn't even matter if you've got an ace deuce behind. That king is just too crippling for your hand. You should never really be getting involved. The only exceptions to that are when you're in a very in situations with very specific dynamics with players whose action you know, and you're then playing the player, not your hand, if that makes sense. But even still, it's like you've got to be able to. The problem with trying to play Raz hands like that is that you need to run out at least 2 low cards on the rest of your board to even have a hope of playing anything with that. Because, if you're sitting there with a king and you hit a queen and a jack, you're done, right? He knows that you don't have a hand. So unless his board is drawing out worse, which is, unlikely, you just can't, literally can't do anything. It's not like in No Limit Hold'em where you can bluff because nobody knows what you actually have. There's no real bluff here in this spot when your board isn't showing what a good board should show. There's just no credible bluff there anymore. There's more bluff in a stud game when your board can show pretty weak and you can still, you can have a full house without even with only a pair showing on your board, right? So in a stud high scenario, you can actually bluff bad bring in cards in many cases. I mean, if you bring in with the 2, you can easily bluff with that because you have rolled up 2s and you got a pretty damn strong hand. There's really no way you can represent a strong hand when you bring in with a king in Raz. It's just not. You just can't do it. Speaking of bringing in with a king in Raz. Should know better than to even think about getting involved in chat on a poker site, right? It's like, what, why even bother? You're just gonna get shit on if you do. So why even bother? check to the pre-flop razor. I just had to double check and make sure that that's actually what happened. I wasn't sure if it was a limp or if I'd call. I thought I'd called a raise. So I think I'm semi-bluffing my spade draw here. And we miss our spade draw. Oh well. So we're done in the singularity. Just playing the... Oh, you guys weren't watching that anyways. Well, I'm done in the singularity because I flopped spades on a... I flopped a spade draw with 10-9 of spades on a king 4 two-spade board. And we checked to the pre-flop razor. The pre-flop razor put in a half-pot bet. We decided to come over the top of it with our flush draw. He called with 10s, and we did not get there with our flush draw. So we are out of the singularity. Excellent. Just getting sorted to possibly catch up with our good friend Daro Carney in Montreal. Razamanaz me all night, man. Yeah, that's not a stud hand. Now that we're playing stud, we're not getting our stud hands. Of course, that wasn't even a Raz hand, so it's not. I can't even complain. That just wasn't an a hand to play in 7-card poker in any form or any way. Jack 7-6 is gonna pretty much lose all the time in 7-card poker. I mean, I do potentially have the 7-6 straight flush draw there, but, let's be serious. It's about the only thing I got going for me in that hand. And here we are. We're not even playing stud 8, and I have a hand that we could play with. We're playing stud 8, but we're not even doing that. So... I mean, there isn't any dead cards to my straight out there, but we've now got a bet completion and a raise, so I don't think we can draw in that spot. Oof, that 4 would have slid right nicely in between our 3 and our 5, and that deuce might have been the next card we got actually. Trying to do the math here. I'm trying to do the math. I'm not sure. It gets a little tough to figure out what cards you're going to get as you go through the extra streets in stud because of the burn cards and the order of deal. But we might have hit our straight on this hand. we might just hit our straight. Or we might have been 4 cards to it anyways. Alrighty, Yogi, see you soon. Alrighty, we're on another break, so I'm going to send you off to some commercials here pretty quick, and I will be right back.
Halo, everybody, halo.
Halo Shampoo presents the inside story of the Lonesome Mermaid.
What can I do about my hair? It's so dull and stringy looking, the sailors never whistle at me anymore. And for a mermaid, that's serious.
Look, Toots, here's the answer to your problem. Use Halo shampoo. Soaping dulls hair. Halo glorifies it.
Halo means natural beauty. The first time that you use it, you need no special rinsing after you use it. So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo. Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair.
So Halo shampoo, Halo.
Remember, Halo leaves hair fragrant, dandruff-free, and wonderfully easy to manage. Because Halo's not a soap or an oily cream.
So Halo, everybody, Halo. Halo shampoo, Halo.
Hi, I'm Margaret Lindsay. If you'd sort of like someone to whistle at you, let Halo shampoo help you out. Because Halo leaves your hair soft and fragrant, shining with colorful highlights. Glorify your hair with Halo, America's favorite shampoo.
This is a Conestoga wagon of frontier fame. These were the wheels that carried the pioneers and all their possessions across America. These are the wheels that covered a continent. Today, the wheels are different, but they're still rolling.
Wheels are rolling, rolling all along the highway. Wheels that keep a rolling all the night and day, singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks, a song of safety and service all along the way. Keep them rolling, keep America strong, east, west, north, south, rolling along. Wheels are rolling, rolling all across the nation, wheels that keep a rolling all the night and day, singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks. Keep them rolling all across the USA.
Across the USA, only trucks can deliver to your store or your own front door so swiftly such things as ice cream, fresh meat, newspapers, clothing, furniture, and the hundreds of other things you use every day. Modern trucks deliver the goods faster and more economically. They make your life more pleasant. You live better because of trucks that keep rolling along.
Singing a song of the men behind the motor trucks. Keep them rolling all across the USA.
This message has been brought to you in behalf of the American trucking industry by Chevrolet, maker of Chevrolet sturdy-built trucks.
For centuries, women have impatiently waited for the men they loved to return from the sea. At Christmas time, there's no better way to express that love than a gift of Old Spice. Old Spice, fresh, clean, masculine, sensual. A wonderful gift for a man, a wonderful way to please a woman. This Christmas, give Old Spice to someone you love.
We are back. Not quite back in action yet. I am going to jump into the €1 Singularity on Unibet, though, as well, I think. Since we looks like we're still playing some 8 games here for a while. So I will be doing that very shortly here. That should be up on the screen. In just a few short minutes. So if it folded to me in this spot, I might open the King 5 for a raise, well, a completion. But given that we've got somebody else with a 5 in there already, we're probably... actually, we're going to see at least one street here and see where we go. In the meantime, I'm going to go register into the Singularity. My kings are looking weaker and weaker. So that's the Singularity. The title is not quite correct yet. It will be shortly, however. Not going to play that hand that you didn't see on the scoop table. There we go. We are in the €1 Singularity, and we've got the scoop running still as well. And let's add that to our bankroll tracker. Make sure we call that the right tournament. There we go. Cool. Alrighty. Putting in a raise here just because it's a good idea. We're not folding to a bet. And we're going to put money in here. He's probably going to call us with a low. We might fold now because he's got a really straighty looking board here. And we got squat basically at this point. So, oh, yeah, I think this has got to be a fold, unfortunately. It's kind of gross, but. Oh, you guys weren't even watching that hand. Let's go over there. I'll come back to the Singularity table if anything interesting happens. Oh, sorry to hear that, Tony. Sorry to hear you had a terrible run. So far, I've been running okay in it. I wasn't doing great early on, but we're not doing terribly now. Just lost a bit of a gross one on the stud 8, but what are you going to do? I think we're about to lose the gross one on stud. No, not this time. Next hand, probably, on the stream. Oh, right, I wasn't showing it. That's the problem. I wasn't showing it. Alrighty, so we've cracked the guarantee. We're up to 33,878 in the prize pool now. 3,458 entries. 13 minutes, 12 minutes of reg left, so we're just about done with the reg, which means we'll be closing that pretty quick. And yeah, currently we got $5,264 up top, with a min cash coming in at $1,529, which is not actually as good for us this time as it was last time, because we actually paid full price to get into this one instead of getting in for a cheap Saudi ticket. In fact, we paid a little bit over full price because we busted one Saudi and then we just bought in with one of our tickets. So we didn't really pay dollars for this, but we did pay a ticket plus $1.10 for a satellite. So slightly above the official buy-in. We get a walk. That's a bit surprising. There's currently 510 places getting paid, but as I said, there's still 10 minutes of late reg, 11 minutes of late reg, so that might change. Might change yet. People are still regging all the time. Numbers still creeping up. Hopefully we can hold on here and at least get as far as some money spots at the very least. Might have been a bit confusing what I said before about how I got into this tournament. So I played a satellite to this tournament and I busted it. So I did not win a ticket to this tournament, but I still had an $11 ticket that was a generic ticket that I won from a social media contest. Was either from Tony's last home game series, or it was the Bluff social media contest that I won a couple of months ago. I'm not entirely sure which of those tickets was used the other day and which of those tickets was used today, but yeah. So it wasn't like I won a ticket for this event. I just used a ticket that I had sitting there gathering dust for a while to get into this one. This is the PLO round. Lyle, do not play low hands. Lyle, do not play low hands. Lyle, do not play low hands. We shall keep repeating that mantra to ourselves all through this round, because we don't want to play low hands in PLO. We have a tendency to evaluate all of our 4-card hands for their low possibilities when we're playing mixed games, because we play so much horse and don't have to think about PLO very much. So it's a bit of a dangerous round for us in 8-game, because we'll find ourselves in, at the turn, realizing we're playing for a low pot that doesn't fucking exist. Oh, excuse me. Sort of yawn in your face there. Interesting spot here on the singularity table. I think I have to call behind. I'm going to lose to a jack, but I'm also going to beat 10s that are there from the flop. Yeah, we're clearly 2 pairs is not winning against this action. Pair of queens with a 7-8, and queen high hearts isn't a terrible place to be for PLO. So I've still got an overpair. Wow. Wow, he just fucking hits the set of deuces. Alrighty, so we're done in the scoop. We are. Oh, you guys weren't even watching that hand. Anyways, that's gross. We're done in the scoop. Got it in with a pair of queens. And guy called my. I potted pre-flop with queen 7-8, 2 hearts. From the small blind, big blind called me with deuce 7-6 something in the and he just spiked a deuce on the flop. So it was pretty darn gross. It was a 10 high flop, like 10-8 deuce. So I was pretty happy to be getting my money in with an overpair to the board, even though it was Omaha. So, but we're done. We are done in the 8 game. No money there for us. No money in the 8 game for us. No money in the 8 game for us. Just playing my free spin from stars now. We won a $2,000 free roll tournament ticket. And it looks like I have a chest to open as well. Oh no, it's challenge. I have to... What's the challenge that I have to do? Or do I have to do a challenge? Yeah. I don't play Zoom, so I'm not gonna end up playing that one very much. This is a re-entry tournament. No, I don't want to re-enter for $11. Thank you very much. Not this late in the day. Not this late in the day. We will just play the rest of the singularity out. We'll call it a day. I think. So no good for me on the mixed game or on the scoop either today. Oh well, it happens. Cool, man. Good luck with that. There's not a lot of hands with a 7 in them that he calls on the flop, or that he's betting on the flop, probably. Didn't seem like he had a lot of 7s in his range there. I have a bluff catcher that catches most other bluffs on that board, so. Pair of jacks on the singularity table in the big blind. Scrimped is fairly active against us quite often, although we're in a different guise than we usually are when we're playing him, so he may not know who we are. We're usually 10 Jilly when we're playing against Scrimped. And we're definitely going to put more money in this pot with our jacks. Pretty happy to keep putting money in this pot now. I think on that flop. Just two fucking pairs. I mean, what am I supposed to do when you get people that just call in behind with fucking 10-8 offsuit to a 4x raise? Obviously not the flop we were looking for with ace-9 of hearts. Does seem like a bit of an overbet from Integrin there, but I was going to say, but this is a nano, but it's actually not a nano. It's a €1 singularity, which is the smallest non-nano, which actually I think is in many ways even donkier than the nano events. Just down to our final game now. Just the singularity to go. It's been a bit of a shortened stream today because we got on late. Didn't play a lot of the normal tournaments that we play on in the morning our time. Missed out on Comet Nano if it ran, missed out on the Dark Matter Nano, missed out on the first 2-year Singularity, missed out on the Falling Star, missed out on a bunch of things. Missed out on the Abyss. Nice one, Yogi. Must have quite a stable of Nova tickets sitting there waiting for you, eh? Yeah, I always lose the flips. It's kind of a shame I'm going to Montreal on the weekend, though. I'm just looking at the limit RAS on Thursday, which I won't be able to play because I'll be traveling. But that would have been a fun one to try to SATI into. It's 22, so I probably wouldn't have bought in, but it would have been fun to try to SATI into. Pair of 10s with the backdoor hearts. Tens and sixes now. Still just the tens and sixes. He just fucking gets there. Get rid of the 8.7, I think. Although there's lots of money in the pot, but it's an interesting strategy of limp everything that Lighters seems to be employing. Trying to work out exactly what the hell they're doing. It's pretty easy to play against the limp everything strategy when they don't get there, but and LiDAR gets there all the time, so makes it pretty tricky. You know, the limp everything, min bet everything strategy is fucked up. I'd like to know what the hell he's doing. Or she's doing. And limp. Oh, wow, fooled. Holy shit. What the hell? What the hell? That just throws my whole world into chaos now. Queued up for more commercials if we make it that far. We're still 20 minutes away from that, so we still got some poker to play. And our stack is pretty small, so who knows what's going to happen between now and then, but as long as we're on the same table as LiDAR, I think we've got a really good chance of doubling up. If we play our cards right. And of course, being one of the few cases where you can use the phrase playing your cards right in a literal sense. So normally that's one of the poker phrases that's made its way into the common parlance. It's actually quite interesting how many poker terms are just part of the common parlance. From people that have never played the game before. Not only just aren't, regs at the online tables or whatever, but have literally never played the game before. And you get all sorts of business people talking about going all in on projects, and you get playing your cards right. You've got don't put good money after bad. You got all sorts of these poker expressions that all relate back to very specific situations on the poker table or in your poker bankroll management or whatever, that have just kind of flown into the common parlance, and everybody uses them for all sorts of non-poker related situations because poker is life. Poker is this distilled version of life. We got serious cat dance action happening in the chat box. That's cool. That's very cool. I do apologize. It's a bit of a low-key stream today. I'm kind of tired. Like I say, it's been a busy day as well. Busy day yesterday. It's been a busy couple of weeks for me. It's going to be an even busier next couple of months for me. So things just get busier from here. That's cool, though. We all have to work for a living. This is sort of the time of year when I do most of my work anyways, so. It's funny, it was true. That was true when I worked at my old job as well. We did all of our training was in the summertime as well. The British Army doesn't train Canada in the winter because it's too cold. The Canadian Army trains just fine during the wintertime. And, but no, the British basically shut down their training at the end of October and don't start up again until sometime in May usually. They'd probably just getting an exercise underway for 2019 now out there, to be honest. I got to chat with my old colleagues and buddies and find out what's going on. But yeah, they're probably getting their first exercise. So there are probably British soldiers running around a few kilometers away from me with laser tag vests on and lasers mounted to their tanks and shooting at each other. Playing war games. Yeah. if I should be raising these draws more often against somebody like LiDAR. They're calling all the time though is the thing. So I don't think the raise gets us anywhere. And like I said, I don't think the bet gets us anywhere because I don't think LiDAR ever folds to our bet. And we just can't get there. We're flopping draws that make us want to stay in the hand, and then we just can't get there. I think we're going to put in a bluff here, see if we can't get away with it. And we do. Oh, ace-3 suited is kind of a hand you want to play. See what the flop brings. Bet my ace. Yeah, I think I probably should have maybe put in a raise with that 7-8. Especially against that particular player who's always min betting. Yeah, agreed. I probably need to be cautious of my timing tells against that player, and when I do put in the raise, I probably want to put it in pretty quickly, as you say. Damn, we should have been in this hand for sure, I guess. Yeah, for sure. Let's see a flop with our king jack here. We do possibly have backdoor hearts developing. Got overcards to the board as well, so should have maybe bet that flop. Are we having some spelling issues today, Yogi? Wow. Yeah, so Leiter just basically doesn't know how to play poker, is the answer here. There's just no way that Ace Jack should be calling that. Should be calling that off there. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. That was a pretty bizarre hand. If this was suited, I might be inclined to play it, but I think I'm going to get out of the way with it being off suit. That's always good. Definitely like to play pots in position against Lighter. Well, that's a change in strategy. What happened to the min bet there, Lighter? Must have smashed that flop. Break time. We'll be back in a few short minutes.
Gotta figure out a way to get Peter Lawford to take Maria Reeve and Carol Channing to the party tonight.
I'd be very, very glad to get away from this girl for my 3 weeks vacation. Believe me, she's driving me crazy.
Where are you going on your vacation?
What'd you say?
I said, where are you going on your vacation?
Oh, I don't know. I just get in my car and drive around.
Well, that's always good.
Sure.
What kind of a car do you drive?
Will you repeat that for the West Coast, please?
Say, what kind of car do you drive?
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Lawford. I mean, henceforth you will be known as Mr. Law Buick, not Mr. Lawford. I happen to drive the best car on the road. Oh, how I love to drive my Buick with my sweetheart sitting by my side.
That's right, Milton. Sing it out. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, especially you ladies. Tonight we have some exceptionally timely advice for you about this business of buying an automobile. It's timely because these are bargain days right now at your Buick dealers. And when it comes to picking bargains, as every husband knows, it's the woman of the house who's the keenest shopper. So I'm going to disqualify myself as a bargain expert tonight in favor of a lady who has just been shopping the automobile showrooms, Mrs. Jan Sherwood. Now, Mrs. Sherwood, would you mind telling our audience how many different automobile showrooms you visited this week?
Altogether, Mr. Hayworth, I shopped the showrooms of 12 different makes of cars.
12. And were they all in the Buick's price class?
Well, now, that depends on what you mean by Buick's price class. I found, for instance, that some cars among the so-called low-price 3 actually cost more than some Buicks. And that's just one of several surprising facts that I'm afraid most folks who are shopping for car bargains don't realize about Buick.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you take it from here and let our audience in on them all, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Hayworth. And I think I'll take that Buick Special over there as a typical Buick bargain. Now, if I were going to pick the bargain of bargains of all 12 cars I shopped this week, it would certainly be this beautiful big Buick sedan. And I found that this Buick delivered for appreciably less than several models of the low-price 3, despite the fact that it gives you so much more car. Specifically, as my notes show, this Buick has from 15 to 30 more horsepower, more room inside, front and rear. And here's what my notes say about the demonstration ride I took in each of them. Frankly, there just isn't any comparison. And I wish I had time to show you my notes on all the cars that I compared with Buick. It really makes you wonder, how can Buick give you so much for so little?
I know, Mrs. Sherwood. I've often wondered that myself. But all you have to do is to look at the rock-bottom figures on the price tag on this big Buick two-door, six-passenger sedan. Just stack this price against that on other cars you might consider. And remember, it includes standard equipment charged for as extras by others. It also includes delivery in the very city in which your TV station is located. You certainly can't beat Buick bargains.
More than that, Mr. Hayworth, I was amazed at the high trade-in allowances Buick dealers are now offering. They're just about tops, I found.
And that's mighty important, Mrs. Sherwood. When you subtract the top allowance for your present car from this low price, you sure got yourself a money-saving bargain.
But definitely. And I do hope you folks out there will check this with your Buick dealers. This week, for sure.
That's right, folks. You couldn't pick a better time to see him.
For I know that very soon I'll go on my honeymoon, my Buick, my love, and I. Pete? What happens at dress rehearsals, we get applause for commercials. Pete, let's see.
We're back. 30 minutes to go, 30 minutes, 30 seconds to go until the commercial's up. Lovely little slate of Buick ads there that we had. And we're off. Total of 64 players in this one, so we busted the guarantee. What do you got? 57.60 in the prize pool over the €50 guarantee. 207 for the min cash and 11.57, or sorry, 17.57 up top for the first place prize. And 9 places are getting paid. Yeah, I think you could probably put most modern cars in the trunk of that car. That's the size of old cars just is astonishing when you compare it to today. And I mean, obviously, in part, it's because there's all these other classes of cars, like the SUVs and sport utility and the that sort of thing. The Australian Utes and that sort of thing. So it makes, but take the biggest car today, and it'd be lucky to fit into a mid-size car range from the 50s. It's probably more like a compact car in the 50s, even the biggest one out today. And even when you go look at something like a Cadillac, even the Cadillacs that they put out are half the size of the Cadillacs that they used to put out. So it's kind of interesting the way things have changed. It's a great little bit at the end there with them as they're ad-libbing on their commercial break and how they're talking about getting applause for commercials during the dress rehearsals. It's kind of fun. It's one of the reasons I like to show all these old ads is because, of course, back in the day, a lot of it was done live too. So there's also all sorts of ad lib and bloopers and stuff. Queen 10 gets a double up. We have Jack 4 suited. Always like to see a flop if I can with suited hands, but much will depend on how expensive it becomes. limper LiDAR coming into the pot for normal limp, and mastering just booms in over top. Which is what we're going to have to be doing for the most part when we play now too with our stack. We've got 15 big blinds now, so we definitely have to be thinking more strategically about hands. I have to think one of these times Jack does not have it when they're doing this raise against the lighter. Like the third or the fourth time that this dynamic has happened. I mean, I totally get this play. If I'm Jack, I'm probably doing that against LiDAR specifically. I'm probably doing that with any ace. Because I know LiDAR can be so wide. Nice one, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I did not play any of the Titans today. The Titan Nano just feels like it's not even worth my time anymore. And I'm still a little bit gun shy on firing into a €10 rebuy event, so I'm sort of in between Titans at the moment. Yeah, min cashing in the Titan is a very unsatisfying experience. If you make your money back, which is a big if, it's just barely by like a penny or two. And a lot of times the min cash isn't even your money back in the Titan. So, I mean, I guess if you're only in for one bullet and the add-on, you're probably going to make money on most min caches. But if you fired at least one extra bullet, a lot of times, at least in the Nano version, a lot of times the min cache is like 27 cents. So one bullet and an add-on, and you're still making 7 cents on the min cache. But two bullets and an add-on, and you're losing 3, right? So it's pretty tricky. LiDAR got moved. LiDAR got moved to another table. Our chip ATM got moved. Oh, man! Man! Quads! I folded quads, folks. Look at this. I folded quads. How can I fold quads? How can I fold quads? Jeez. How can I fold quads? Shove my ace-9. Looks like we just picked a spot where we're in like fucking massive trouble. All right. Alrighty, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. It's been fun. I don't know whether I'm going to be on tomorrow or not. I do have to drive to Calgary at some point. It's probably not going to be until later in the day, but I got to get some stuff done and so on. So I might pop on, I might not pop on, I'm not sure. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was kind of a busty sort of day, but that's the way poker goes sometimes. You just got to be able to roll with those punches, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we're gonna pilot this thing into a nice soft landing, I think, and call it a day. So thanks for hanging out with me. Elron out.